This is WWE Wrestling Legend Hall of Famer Tito Santana.
This is WWE NXT Superstar Lexis King.
And you are listening to the Source Wrestling Podcast. Arriba!
And you're listening to the Source Wrestling Podcast. Long live Lexis King.
You're looking at the best there
Austin
is.
316.
What do you guys want to talk about? I have a lot of things I want to get off my chest. I'm the best. I'm the best in the world.
Let me talk to you. Yeah.
We will rest in peace.
Welcome back, guys. Welcome back. This is episode 36 of The Source WWE AEW All Things Wrestling Podcast with Joe and Mike. Yeah, Mike is back in the studio today. It's great to have him with us.
Yes.
I do not have to do another solo episode.
No,
we do not have to worry
good
about
to go now.
Yep, he is back and he is large and in charge with a boot. And today we are going to be reflecting on this past week in professional wrestling. We have Backlash coming right up. So before it happens, we're going to go through Monday Night Raw 429-24, WWE NXT 430-24, and we will end it all with AEW Dynamite 5-1-24. Let us talk to you. Let's go. It's the Source Wrestling Podcast. And we start off today's show with WWE Monday Night Raw recap 429-24 from the T-Mobile Center in Kansas City, Missouri, home of the Chiefs. And as the show went on the air, you see this really nice car pull up. You know, we wonder who's in it, and it happens to be Logan Paul, I Show Speed, and none other than Super Bowl champion Patrick Mahomes, reigning, defending Super Bowl champion, and they're in the parking lot area. Logan says he's at Raw tonight to announce some draft picks.
Let's go.
They run into the Judgment Day. You know, this is also the last portion of the draft here. They run into the Judgment Day. Mahomes says he's a big fan of the Judgment Day, and he's looking forward to Damian Priest beating the uglier Uso, or I think that was Logan, rather, saying that at Backlash, which is coming right up. And to start Monday Night Raw, we have a Becky Lynch, Liv Morgan, and Nia Jax segment. And this is all building to a number one contender for the, her new Women's World Championship.
Yeah, it'd be cool to see it. As much as we hate her, it'd be cool to see a Nia Jax run.
Yeah, I'm honestly...
It's like a female Andre the Giant type
exactly,
run.
And we need that nowadays in professional wrestling. We need an attraction, a big attraction, and she could be that with a monster heel title run. So, we have this segment here, and, Becky Lynch with the whole, the man has come around to Kansas City, yada, yada, yada.
Fans going nuts for her.
Yeah, fans are going nuts.
Good pop.
And she's saying that she has some history with Kansas City because nearly 6 years ago, that's when she got her face busted by none other than the irresistible force, Nia Jax. And, everything has come full circle to now being the champion. And Liv Morgan now is basically saying, if you're looking for a new number one contender, you're looking at her. Here I am. She's saying the very last thing she wanted to do was to go out there and just, demand a title shot. But she feels like Becky owes it to her, she says, and now, it's the revenge tour after all. And
it is.
Yep, and it's
actually been a pretty cool revenge tour.
Yeah,
so
she
far.
took out Mommy. She
Except
took
for not
out
winning the title. But.
Took out Rhea Ripley, though, the dominant champion. So that's got to stand for something. She says she won't stop until she has everything she wants. And Nia finishes with, guys, I dominated the both of you last week. I should be the champion now. And she's saying the only reason that she's not is because the two of them teamed up to make sure that she wouldn't be. But she's saying, lucky for you guys, this is my last night on Raw. I got drafted to the Superior show, she says, which is the blue brand, SmackDown. She says that's why she's wearing blue for all the dumb idiots out there. She says, but like Bayley, Naomi, and Tiffany saw, I will soon be champion, so I'm not worried about about that. Tonight's her last night, and if she's leaving, she says, she's taking one of them with her. And to end that, Liv Morgan drop kicks Nia Jax off of the ring apron, and she says, if you're going to make a challenge tonight, then I accept. So we have a match. It's Liv Morgan versus the Irresistible Force, Nia Jax, later on this episode. But now it's the first round of the 2024 WWE Draft, and who comes out to make the first pick? It is none other than Stephanie McMahon herself, the princess of the McMahon family. She comes out.
Seen a lot of her lately.
Absolutely, and we're loving that because she was out of the picture for quite some time. It's good to see her back, and she's out to make the first pick in the WWE Draft, the second night of the draft. And with the first pick in the first round, Raw selects Imperium. So that will tell you that Gunther is going nowhere. He is staying on Raw, to continue his search for main event gold is
Which
what I assume.
lines him up with the title that we felt
It
he
does.
was going to be going
Yep, the World
for,
Heavyweight Championship. I can see it.
Everything's in good order.
Yep, everything's in perspective for Gunther. And she then follows by saying it looks like a storm is coming to SmackDown because the second pick is Jade Cargill, which, she needs to stay there because that's where all her homies are. Right. The big three is there. And, you got to just keep going with that, especially with this Bianca Belair tag team, which Bianca was drafted first overall in the draft to SmackDown. With the third pick, Raw selects Io Sky, Asuka, Kairi Sane, and Dakota Kai, Damage Control. So they're going to Raw, moving over from SmackDown. And with the final pick of the first round, SmackDown selects none other than KO himself, Kevin Owens. So Kevin Owens is staying on SmackDown, where we have seen him. First match of the night, it is the Ring General Gunther versus Xavier Woods of the New Day. And Woods put up a decent fight against the Ring General. Probably had a better outing than I thought he would have. There were times where Kofi Kingston wanted to throw in the towel.
It's true.
And the ref was right there like, is he going to do this? If he throws in the towel as his manager.
It's just a good way to keep him going at this point.
It would have been an automatic forfeit for Woods. Woods did try to power back and fight back, but it ended up being the Ring General Gunther with a modified STF, winning by submission here and showing his dominance as usual. We then cut backstage to an interview with main event Jey Uso and Kathy Kelly. She's asking if Jay is feeling any pressure being a high draft pick going into the World Heavyweight Championship match at Backlash. Is there any pressure being a first-round pick or a number one contender? That's the true question, she says. And at Backlash, he says Damian Priest is about to catch this yeet down. Jay also heard what Logan Paul had to say at the beginning of the show, and he says he's happy that WWE signed the Paul brother, but he wished it was one with a winning record. So that was a little dig at Logan Paul, our U.S. champion there. And now we have R-Truth striking a deal with Chad Gable behind Miz's back. The Awesome Truth will put their World Tag Team titles on the line against the Alpha Academy. And Truth says that they can get drafted to the NFL and play for the Kansas City Chiefs. So he's automatically being R-Truth. As we see him every week. No idea what's going on. Think he's getting drafted to the NFL. Truth also says he'd be excited to get some State Farm insurance from Patrick Mahomes. He's like, he's the insurance guy, right? Chad Gable then turns around and is greeted by a big boot from Sami Zayn out of nowhere, takes him out of the frame, and you knew Sami wasn't done with him, so that'll continue because we now have a Jey Uso, Logan Paul segment. Logan Paul comes out, getting booed in Kansas City. He's before we get started, y'all know that we got a very special guest in the house tonight. He wants Samantha Irvin to announce the Super Bowl champion, the best quarterback in the league, Kansas City Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes. And she does do it. Samantha Irvin introduces Patrick Mahomes as the two-time NFL MVP, three-time Super Bowl champion, starting quarterback for the Chiefs. It's Pat Mahomes. He gets a nice pop there, obviously. They're in Kansas City. And it's time for a draft pick, guys. It's I Show Speed with this pick.
Oh, boy.
With the first pick. In the second round of the 2024 WWE Draft, Raw selects none other than the voice of the voiceless, CM Punk. And that is major because Drew McIntyre, is he going to end up there? Are they going to end up there together? And, Punk on Raw is always the move. Always the move. And Logan Paul announces the next pick. SmackDown selecting the almighty Bobby Lashley, the Street Profits, and BFAB, other known as the Pride, so they all get drafted together. They are on SmackDown. I show speed with the next pick. This was an unexpected one, guys. We did not see this coming. It was really cool. Raw selects the monster of all monsters, Braun Strowman. And he comes out to a massive ovation. It's really, really good to see him back. And Logan announces the final pick of the second round, SmackDown selecting Tiffany Stratton. So she is, SmackDown is staying on Tiffy time, if you will. She's great on SmackDown. She's in the main event scene right now already.
What are they going to do with her? Who knows?
Yeah, right. She has a chance to really do something big. Jey Uso is talking about Logan Paul now, saying that he's got predictions for Backlash, but Kansas City, I want to hear what you've got to say. You think Jey Uso can beat Damian Priest, and everyone obviously is cheering for it. He goes, you think Jey Uso can be the new World Heavyweight Champion? Everyone's loving it. And he goes, you think Jey Uso should knock the yeet out of Logan Paul for running his mouth? And, they're all yeeting and loving that. Logan Paul then follows by what is this, Jay? You think you can out-yeet me? He goes, for all my little gangsters out there, I've been yeeting since 2017. So he's been yeeting before Jey Uso.
He has been yeeting for a while, I will say that.
Yes, we have confirmation that he has been yeeting.
Yeah.
He's saying little brother Jay's trying to roast me. He goes, you're not good alone. That's why you got kicked out of the bloodline. Because the difference between you and I, me and my bloodline, we're tight. And he says Jey Uso is alone once again, couldn't fend for himself then, can't do it now. A little bit behind with both of those brain cells you still have in your head, he says. He says his vocabulary only consists of two words, yeet and oos. And then Jay gets into a big brawl with Finn Balor and JD from the Judgment Day. And Logan Paul bails out of the ring, goes to the first row where Patrick Mahomes is sitting. And this I thought was really, really cool. Patrick Mahomes takes off his 3 Super Bowl rings, his championship rings, gives them to Logan Paul. And
you already know what
he's going to do. It's not brass knuckles this time. It's 3 Kansas City Chiefs Super Bowl rings to the face of JD McDonough, which he looked terrible after that. And then, after this draft pick is made, I just talked a little bit about it. Braun Strowman comes out of nowhere, storms into the ring, looking great, neck healed up. He just had a major neck surgery, may not have wrestled again, but he is back. Choke slams Finn Balor. Logan runs away. Strowman talking smack to Patrick Mahomes, who's sitting in the front row. And Jey Uso had to calm Braun Strowman down to close that segment. And I thought that was really well done.
Amazing to see Braun Strowman
absolutely
back. What a pop.
Absolutely. Grew his hair back, too. I didn't know he could still do that.
We didn't really expect it because, he came in through the pick and you're like, oh, wow, Braun Strowman just got picked.
Right.
We're going to see him soon, who knows when. Boom, right away.
Right away. Yep, he's ready to go. Thought that was really, really, really cool. After this segment, though, Kathy Kelly has a backstage interview with Booker T. He says he's lending his hand tonight as a special draft advisor, and he calls Jade Cargill, the pick that SmackDown made, a game changer. He also mentions that Raw landing Punk was a big deal as well, and we see Drew McIntyre now standing behind Booker. He's been there the entire time. Drew steals Booker's own line with the "Tell me you did not just say that." And he asked, does Booker feel that Punk should have been drafted ahead of the guy who put him on the shelf? Drew McIntyre still undrafted at this point. Booker reminds Drew that he's not the World Heavyweight Champion. Drew says that, Booker has changed and he knows better than anybody how CM Punk really is. And after this, we get our second match of the night. A lot of segments, but we finally get a second match. It is the WWE Intercontinental Championship match. Challenger Bronson Reed versus champion Sami Zayn. And this match starts off pretty good. Both guys really looking good, and you kind of had to know that something was going to happen where this match would not be a clean match. It ends up being heel Chad Gable getting involved here. He applies the ankle lock. The referees have to pull him off of Sammy. Bronson Reed plants Sami Zayn now with the tsunami. Gable poses with the Intercontinental Championship. And then Bronson Reed nails Chad Gable with the Death Valley Driver for costing him a chance at the title, I assume. And Reed stands tall over Zayn and Gable. So your winner by disqualification and still WWE Intercontinental Champion, Sami Zayn.
Okay. Little title defense for Sami Zayn.
Yep. Unfortunately, it went south with Chad Gable getting involved.
But, he's at least out there defending his championship.
He is, cool. Trying to be a fighting champion.
Yeah.
And Chad Gable's just not allowing it. He is on a craze right now to get that Intercontinental Championship that has been eluding him. And now he's backstage scolding Maxine Dupree for acting like she got a participation trophy. Gable then tells Kira Tozawa not to do his stupid dance tonight. He says he wants Alpha Academy to go out there and win him a championship because they have that tag team championship match coming up later in the show. Kathy Kelly now backstage with Braun Breaker. Braun says that Adam Pearce knew he was the best option for Monday Night Raw. That's why he drafted him. And out of nowhere comes Sheamus. And he's saying he's a fan of Braun. In fact, that he reminds him of a younger version of himself. And he says he shouldn't be worrying about, all the banter. And Sheamus talks about having banger after banger. And we see Drew McIntyre storming past Sheamus as he's on the hunt for CM Punk at this point. And will he find him? Will he not? We'll have to wait and see. It is the third round of the draft now. It's JBL and Ron Simmons, the APA, Acolyte Protection Agency. And with the first pick in the third round, Raw selects Hall of Famer and deadbeat dad Rey Mysterio, Dragon Lee, Cruz del Toro, Joaquin Wilde, Zelina Vega, and Carlito, the LWO. So they are going to Monday Night Raw.
Yeah, they're keeping the LWO going even though they are dropping members by the week.
Like flies, but yet it is still a thing. And Ron Simmons with the next pick, SmackDown selects Santos Escobar, Angel Humberto, and Elektra Lopez, Legado del Fantasma. So their rival faction now goes to SmackDown. So we'll see what happens. They're on two different shows now. JBL with the next pick. Raw selects the Scottish Warrior, Drew McIntyre. So that means Drew McIntyre and CM Punk are on the same show. Now, of course, you had to realize that had to be done to keep this epic rivalry going for when Punk is cleared. Ron Simmons with the final pick of the third round. And it is Shinsuke Nakamura selected by SmackDown. So Shinsuke gets moved. We get to see Raw without Shinsuke moving forward. We'll see how that goes. And Drew McIntyre comes out to boast about being drafted to Raw, I can only assume, and then gets cut off by CM Punk's music. McIntyre is livid, doesn't know what's going on. He's looking around, doesn't see CM Punk anywhere, so he's on the mic saying, well, of course you weren't going to show up, you're a little bitch, and so on and so forth. And out of nowhere, CM Punk is up in a skybox. He is in a luxury box in the crowd, far away from Drew McIntyre, and he's like, cut the music. It is good to be alive on Monday night in Kansas City. And he goes, I'm not sitting at home, Drew. I'm right here, you little bitch. And the crowd goes nuts. And then Ron Simmons is back at the draft podium, and he goes, damn. So you do get that after that pipe bomb from CM Punk. And now Drew McIntyre is in a craze. And he runs backstage. He's gonna.
He really, really, really setting McIntyre up
big time. There was steam coming out of Drew's ears. It seemed like he was so mad. So you see McIntyre scurry off. You assume he's going to look for Punk, and then we get the third match of the night. It is Maxine Dupree versus Candice LeRae. Maxine looking a little bit better every week. You can tell she's working. She applies the ankle lock at a certain point in this match, and it looked like she was really close to having LeRae tap out. But needless to say, LeRae with a drop toe hold into the middle rope. She hits Dupree with a super kick and connects with the Wicked Stepmother to pick up the victory. Your winner by pinfall is Candice LeRae. So yeah,
Try to do something with her.
yeah, Maxine gets a loss
Little
here.
heel snide
Master
to
Gable's going to be pissed. You know, we'll see what happens there. Kathy Kelly now backstage with the LWO asking Rey Mysterio, how does he feel about Carlito being drafted to Raw after what occurred on SmackDown? You know, the back turning, the backstabbing, if you will. Rey's feeling a lot of mixed emotions, he says. And as far as Carlito's concerned, he doesn't know why Carlito attacked Dragon Lee, but they have unfinished business. Dom now, Dirty Dom interrupts the conversation. Arm in a sling, got the Eddie Guerrero look going with the mustache, the mullet, really paying homage to Latino heat. He reminds the LWO that the Judgment Day still runs Monday Night Raw, and Ray calls Dominic Dirty Sanchez because of that mustache. We had to note that. Dominic tells Ray that he's lucky he's not medically cleared, and then walks away. And Drew McIntyre finally now, after all this time, he finally shows up in the skybox that Punk was hanging out in. Punk is no longer there. And if you notice, he left behind an 8x10 signed autograph for Drew McIntyre of himself. And Drew McIntyre is obviously freaking out even more now and wondering where he is. And now CM Punk appears, and he's in the middle of the ring. So once again, he's got the jump on McIntyre. McIntyre's in the skybox while Punk is sitting in the middle of the ring, old school, crisscross style. And he's saying that he doesn't want to waste everyone's time.
He's been duped.
Yep, he's been duped again. He's saying he doesn't want to waste anyone's time like Drew McIntyre's been doing. And so he's going to try to do this in less time than it took for Drew's last World Championship reign, he says. Which means he's got
5 minutes.
which means he's got 5 minutes and 46 seconds to be exact. He says, McAfee, time me. And, you know, they're just burning each other. They're really jawing off. And, you know, this is really keeping things hot for their rivalry. And, you know, Punk is looking healthier and healthier every time you see him. He goes, you know, losers hope things happen. Losers pray for things to happen, but winners make things happen. And when I'm cleared, when I'm 100%, I promise you, Drew, I'm going to make your life a living hell, he says. And we can only imagine what Punk is going to do to him coming soon. But now we have the fourth round of the draft. It is playa Teddy Long with the first pick in the fourth round. And Raw selects Finn Balor, Dominic Mysterio, and JD McDonough, the Judgment Day. Notice they do not name Damian Priest because he is a champion. He is not eligible for the draft. All the champions stay where they are. And Medusa now with the second pick of the fourth round. SmackDown selects Naomi, another Big Three member. You have to keep them together.
Yep.
You know, that's
I
very
hope that they haven't mentioned it.
I know.
think
It's been a while, yeah, because now they're going with this tag team with Bianca and Jade. So
Yeah,
that's
which I
the
like
thing.
a lot better
Love
anyways,
that,
yeah.
love that. And now
What are you going to do with the trio, you know?
oh, yeah, true that. We don't have a trios championship like
Nope,
AEW does.
they need it, but-
They do, yes. Anywho, it's Teddy Long with the next pick in the WWE draft. It's an NXT call-up. Monday Night Raw selects the Mad Dragon, Ilya Dragunov, and we knew this was coming. You know, you had to know he was getting called up. Now he goes to Raw, where Imperium gets drafted. Vinci is now out of Imperium, which only leads me to believe that Ilya Dragunov could be a brand new member of Imperium. We'll have to wait and see on that one. And with the final pick of the fourth round, SmackDown selects Chelsea Green and Piper Niven. So now that moves that tag team to a new show, Chelsea Green and Piper Niven, who have been on Monday Night Raw for quite some time. Fourth match of the night, it is Liv Morgan versus the Irresistible Force, Nia Jax. And Jax is pretty much having her way with Liv for the majority of this match, but Liv just somehow stays in it. She fights away. You know, she's got a lot of heart. It does show, especially going up against somebody like, you know, the size of Nia Jax. The
Yeah.
size difference there is a
It
big
was
one.
a good match. I'd say,
Was.
you know, Liv definitely Like you said, scrappy.
She had to
from
be
the
scrappy.
beginning.
She
Yeah.
had to hang in there, and she hits a.
Pulled off some really cool like moves off the ropes. and
She
stuff,
does,
you know?
yeah. She does, and she comes with a springboard code breaker and connects with the Oblivion to pick up a clean victory over Nia Jax. And for Nia's last night on Raw, she gets beat by Liv Morgan. The Liv Morgan
Crazy.
Revenge Tour rolls on.
Yeah, she's looking good right now.
Looking very good, and we see
multiple ways.
We see that this Revenge Tour is for real. After this, it's now Raw GM Adam Pearce. He tells Kathy Kelly he's happy so far with the picks that Monday Night Raw has made for the Red brand, and he's also very ecstatic that Chelsea Green's moving to SmackDown. He says because she's been a thorn in his side for months and months,
Which is
and
well
months.
documented.
Absolutely. Yep. He's always like, I need a drink after he deals with her. And, to each their own. Fifth round now of the 2024 WWE Draft. The Dudley Boys come out and do the picks in Kansas City. I thought that was cool. They went through their whole spiel here.
Yeah, they did SmackDown too. So
Yep. Pretty awesome. With the first
A lot of
pick.
them.
In the fifth round of the 2024 draft, Raw selects The New Day, so The New Day is not going anywhere. Devon with the next pick. SmackDown is selecting Pretty Deadly, so they stay where they've been at. And with the next pick on the WWE draft, it's another NXT call-up, Mike. It is Raw selecting Lyra Valkyria.
Yeah.
So she gets the call-up, and I'm excited to see what she can do on the
you
main
knew
roster.
that was coming when she dropped her title.
Right. Yep. You can see it, just like the Mad Dragon. He lost to Trick, and now here he goes. He's on to the main roster now. Devon in the final pick of the fifth round, SmackDown selects Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell, so they are off of Raw now and going off to SmackDown. See you guys later. We'll see what happens there. Fifth match of the night is for the WWE World Tag Team Championship titles. It is champions defending the Awesome Truth versus the Alpha Academy, and very entertaining tag team match here. Very close. Almost came with Alpha Academy taking away them titles. Otis was looking strong. He rips the t-shirt. He hits that caterpillar. We saw it all. Tozawa went for the senton bomb. He blocked the skull-crushing finale from The Miz. Truth then tags himself in, and Miz decks Tozawa with a back elbow smash. He ducks a clothesline from Tozawa. Awesome Truth connects with the double skull-crushing finale, the TCF, whatever they're calling it now, to pick up the victory. And still, your winner is Awesome Truth, WWE World Tag Team Champions. And we go backstage to the Judgment Day, and Dominic is all pissed off that the Judgment Day fell to the fourth round. Damian Priest is still mad that they want to continue to stick their nose in his business, he says. He says he wants to handle business alone at Backlash. And JD rocking a massive bruise over his left eye. Looks like he needs to ice that after that hit with those Kansas City Chiefs Super Bowl rings. Priest says it's time to focus and stick to the plan, and now it's Becky Lynch running into Damage Control backstage. Dakota Kai telling Becky that they'll be seeing her around after being drafted to Raw. Becky didn't appreciate Kyrie touching her title as she walked away. And now, guys, it's the final round of the 2024 WWE Draft with the first pick in the final round of the WWE Draft. Raw selects the Final Testament. The Final Testament now moves to Raw. It is a good pick.
They're force right now.
Yeah, they got to, put him in front of a different crowd to see if Karrion can get more of a reaction. Because even though the Final Testament's like the best thing that he's done yet, he's still not getting much of a reaction. He's not getting over. They're kind of forcing it. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe Raw will be better. And with the second pick of the final round, SmackDown selects DIY. So DIY is moved off of Monday Night Raw now. They've been on Raw for a while. They are gone and off to SmackDown. And with the third pick in the final round, Raw selects Big Bronson Reed, so he's not going anywhere. He stays on Monday Night Raw. And with the final pick of the final round of the WWE Draft, another NXT call-up, SmackDown selects Blair Davenport. And, we see footage at the PC, everyone going nuts for.
I didn't expect that one.
Yeah, that was an unexpected call-up for sure, but there it is. It happened. And our main event match of Monday Night Raw is the Judgment Day with Dominic Mysterio versus Jey Uso, Ricochet, Andrade El Idolo in a 6-man tag team match.
What a matchup.
What a matchup indeed. Everyone's hitting on all cylinders. We had super kicks. We had clotheslines. You name it. We had the Uso splash to pick up the victory here. Jey Uso, Ricochet, and Andrade El Idolo with a win. Judgment Day is not looking good.
No.
They're in shambles, Mike.
They are.
What is going on?
I'll start with Rhea Ripley, I feel. I'll start with them dropping the titles.
It did at WrestleMania,
it seems that Damian made up for.
He definitely made up for it by becoming the World Heavyweight Champion, but, Finn, JD, Dom, not looking good for them right now. That is going to end our Monday Night Raw coverage, guys. After this wild week in professional wrestling, we get to sit here and reflect on it before Backlash. I'm excited for this, and now we're going to transition right into some NXT coverage.
Let's go.
What he said. Yeah.
We got our NXT Spring Break-In Part 2.
Yeah.
April 30th, 2024 was the date.
Yeah.
On Tuesday. The show opens up with Whoop That Trick as it should.
Absolutely.
Trick Williams comes down to the ring as champion signify the start of a new era as the face of NXT.
All the way around. New era. Loving it.
Crowd chants, "You deserve it," right off the bat. And
he does.
Trick wants to call it the Whoop That era.
I like it.
The fans start chanting it.
Whoop that
Trick
era.
says, Trick says he's going to make history and drops the mic. Out comes Last Legend, who he had made out with weeks prior.
Yeah.
Congratulating him.
I saw pieces of this segment.
Yeah.
It was funny.
Trick says now that he has gold around his waist, she likes him.
Yeah,
wow.
right. I mean, who wouldn't?
Go figure. He knows the game, and she thinks he's her little Reese's cup.
That's the part I saw, and that absolutely fucking killed me.
Lash says she doesn't like Reese's cups. She likes Kit Kats.
Oh, yeah. I like
says
Reese's
she has
cups.
something for him. She has this envelope, mysterious envelope. Says, enjoy your NXT title run because soon it all comes crashing down and it's about to get really hot in here.
Ooh, it's getting hot.
Doesn't
in
reveal
here.
what's in the envelope, and the segment ends right there.
Interesting.
Now, Gigi Dolan and Ariana Grace, the princess, the Miss America, whatever you want to call her.
Yes.
They're in a promo. Ariana is, following through, teaching Gigi Dolan how to be a lady at the table. Mm-hmm. But they're just using this time to promo matches in between all the lessons.
I see.
Gigi interrupts all her advice to promo shows, basically. It's kind of funny. We do not have our first match of the night till nearly 12 to 15 minutes into this show.
Wow.
But it's a good one. It's Oba Femi versus Ivar for the North American Championship.
Badass, dude. Let's go.
Ivar surprisingly controls most of the beginning of this match, doing a moonsault off the apron.
Big man.
And also slamming Oba down in the ring with a power slam.
And it's kind of tough. It's strange to see Oba Femi get manhandled, at his size.
Oba Femi takes control after a quick kick out. They fight back outside. Ivar gets the better of Oba Femi.
Very powerful.
Ivar runs full speed and crashes into Oba through the barrier. So they crash right through the barrier. Ivar with a front flip off the top rope onto Oba outside of the ring. Wondering how Oba comes back from these moves. I really am at this moment. Oba battles back somewhat, but is knocked down by Ivar. Ivar goes to the top rope. Huge moonsault onto Oba.
That
for
doom
the
salt.
Long 2 count, but Oba's leg was on the ropes.
Oh, so he rope braked it.
Yep. This is awesome chant by the crowd at this point.
Pretty
Ivar
sick.
runs over Oba. Oba puts Ivar sitting on his shoulders up in the air and gives him an electric chair. Oba then looks unfazed by anything that had happened to him earlier that I was worried about.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a huge pop.
Kicked it up
from the
a
crowd,
notch.
and then there's a huge pop-up power bomb for
Nice.
the 1, 2, 3. Yeah, he gave Ivar
Like Kevin
a
Owens.
ride. Big pop-up power bomb.
No way.
1, 2, 3. Obafemi is still your champion.
And still.
We're backstage with Chase U at this time and Fallon Henley. Unsure if she wants to come out with Thea and support her for some reason. JC Jane is in her head, she says. They come out anyway together. And out they come. Thea Hale versus JC Jane is the next match. And, of course, JC Jane is with Jasmine Nix now.
Yes.
Their other counterpart has gone off to the big leagues now.
Yeah, she's gone. She's off to the one of the main roster brands now. So they got to do something new.
Match wasn't anything special. Not going to lie to you. Lots of back and forth fighting. One getting, the upper hand, the next getting the upper hand. A lot of that in this. The big reveal was when Fallon Henley coming out and turning on Thea Hale at the end.
Oh, okay.
I will say that I just skipped over it, but we're going to go right back to it. Thea Hale ends up getting JC Jane to tap out with the Kimura.
Nice. Yeah, devastating submission hold. Always works.
But like I said, the big reveal was Fallon Henley coming out and turning on Thea Hale in the ring. She then leaves the ring, walks by JC Jane and Nix, but doesn't seem aligned with them. It didn't seem like
maybe
they were
she did it for herself.
In accord. JC Jane is actually seen bleeding. This is a little Easter egg.
Oh, wow.
I didn't see any blood in the ring, but as she's passing JC Jane is like spewing blood from her face.
Oh, wow.
It's kind of weird. I don't know what. She's all got a random bloody nose.
Something went wrong.
Like she's got blood in her chin and mouth, and it's like, what's going on with her? But yeah, it didn't appear to get hurt in the ring, so I don't know what happened.
Good.
So now we got these two new guys. They're doing a promo, Tyson DuPont and Tyreek Igwe, talking about how they have known each other their whole life, just promoting their match tonight briefly. They're making their debut from, they're coming up from Level Up.
Yeah, so the Farm League,
Yeah, so Natalia and Carmen Petrovic backstage. Natalia is sparring with Carmen.
It's cool that she's sticking around on NXT.
Yeah, Carmen is motivating, telling her she is ready for her match tonight, and she's ready for her opponent. So we're looking forward to that.
Absolutely.
And we got Luke. Who is Tyson DuPont and Tyreek Igwe going to be? What's their first match going to be? It's going to be the OC.
No.
It's going to be the Good Brothers.
Oh, no,
it's
not the Good Brothers.
Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson.
This ain't going to be good, brother.
But actually good matchup for them because actually to describe Tyson DuPont and Tyreek Igwe, they're like two big guys.
Oh, okay.
Kind of like OTM.
Yeah, I haven't seen them yet.
But a little more impressive, I'd say, than
cool.
More personality.
That's the reason why they got brought to the main NXT brand.
Yeah, absolutely. Tyson is in first with Carl Anderson, and he is strong and agile. Tags in Tyreek, and they double team Carl, and Tyreek takes over. He's able to tag back in Tyson quickly, who then tags back in Tyreek. So a lot of back and forth right there. And in comes Gallows.
Out.
Until Gallows comes in. He settles
Big
the score,
LG don't play
per
that.
usual. But Tyreek actually takes it to him in the corner and counters with a big boot and puts Tyreek into a chokehold. So that's how, Gallows counters that.
Yeah.
Then Tyreek counters and puts Gallows on his shoulders, but he runs and tags Carl. But Tyreek tags Tyson. He clears the ring and battles Anderson, delivering a huge-sized suplex and totally taking him out with a unique running uppercut, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's always good to see the uppercuts.
They
in the
double-team the
ring.
OC and dominate them, but then Carl ends up reversing and getting a spine buster on Tyreek. Gallows then gets tagged in. They sneak in a quick magic killer, like a super quick magic killer.
That's
the
the
1,
move,
2, 3
man.
for the win.
That's the move, yeah.
They lose in their debut, Tyreek and Tyson.
You don't see
but
that a
it was
lot.
Impressive. They put up a fight,
Yeah,
and
I mean,
they looked good.
Against a team like the Good Brothers, it's kind of hard
I'd
to
like to see
beat.
him up against like an AOP next. That'd be really cool.
That would be dope.
But now we have Ava backstage talking to Adam Pearce on the phone. Says she's got to go. She's got a major announcement. Announcement's coming June 6th. The women's North American champion will be crowned.
That is huge.
And there will be a tournament beforehand. There's going to be 12. 12
a 12-woman tournament type
12 round.
Oh,
like,
okay.
I don't know.
So
there's
like a 12-round bracket
24
or something like that?
competitors. Then it goes down to 12. Then it goes down to 6, or 12.
It's big that they're
you know what I mean?
adding that
And
championship.
it's all going to lead up. All going to be at the next pay-per-view.
Yeah, at the next live PLE type thing.
Then, of course, very cliche, all the female wrestlers start coming out to the ring one by one.
Yep.
saying
I
their
want the
piece.
title.
Worth noting, Mishin was highlighted in this. She's
Oh,
going
no
to be
way.
competing for it for
Part
some
of the
reason.
OC.
There's a huge brawl, whatever, fades out. Not much to talk about.
Yeah.
Rich Holland versus Sean Spears is the next one. You know Sean Spears has been antagonizing.
This has been going
Rich
for
Holland.
a while.
Rich Holland retired at one point. I don't know what that was all about.
Yep, unretired apparently.
Yeah, never said anything, I don't think, or maybe I'm wrong, but my
Interesting.
NXT knowledge is pretty sharp.
Yeah.
So, Spears starts off dodging and evading and hitting some chops and slaps. Because, Rich Holland is more of the big aggressor.
Yeah, he's the big brawling brute guy.
Yeah, Spears just overall taunting Ridge, setting his anger from the beginning, and it gets worse and worse as the match goes. Spears taking punishment, but almost enjoying it, it feels like. He doesn't really express
He's a
that, but you
glutton for
almost feel
punishment.
like he's enjoying it. Ridge with a huge clothesline over the top ropes outside is notable. It's a very, very powerful clothesline over the ropes, Royal Rumble-esque. Runs to
like
the
it.
Spears, but he evades and throws Ridge into the stairs, pummels him with knees.
It's not looking
Hitting him
good
with
for
knees
Ridge.
in the stairs. It was a lot of knees. It really is a back and forth matchup from here. Everyone's having their spots back and forth. I know I say back and forth matchup a lot, but there's a lot of back and forth matchups.
There's a lot of back and forth
and that's
matchups out there, man. It just be like that sometimes. 'Cause that's what wrestling is. It's you're going over, then this guy's going over. He's doing his shtick. This other guy's doing his shtick.
Pretty
what
impressive.
it
Ridge
is.
presses Spears totally over his head, clean, and throws him up like nothing right behind him. Starts going berserk on Spears in the corner. His anger has now reached a certain level. Slams him and is growling, spitting like an animal.
Oh, my God.
Ridge with a huge fireman's carry into the corner, and then he hits the Redeemer DDT for the 1-2-3.
Wow, he
and
gets
Ridge
the
gets
win.
that win. Clean.
Sean Spears losing
yeah.
against Ridge,
Sean Spears has been doing that since he returned, it seems. But
the resident jobber.
yeah, it seems like he's right back to it.
Yeah.
So Roxanne Perez is backstage now with Ava. She's mad she didn't get drafted. But then she's reminded by Ava, she's like, "Oh, Ava, you have it out for me. You always have. I know you've always hated me." She's like, "Well,
sorry."
She's like, "Champions don't get drafted." She's like, "You wanted the championship so bad. Now you're here. You know what I
Right,
mean?
you gotta
Like,
make it
you're where
happen
the
now or what?
championship is." So she storms off. Now we have Ivar backstage with Josh Briggs. He's saying Josh Briggs is cocky, saying thanks for softening him up for me.
Yeah,
Oba.
hell of a match.
He says Ivar is not done with him. But then Wes Lee walks in.
Wow, he's back,
Claims
huh?
he's cleared to wrestle.
Let's go.
Josh Briggs gets mad, says to pack his bags, and leaves Lee. Says he's not leaving. Lee says he's not leaving. They're all telling Lee to pack his bags.
I see.
He says he's not leaving.
Yep.
He says he will beat Briggs in a title match.
It ain't
for a
thing.
title match. You know what I mean? He's going to beat
for
Briggs
the
for a title
opportunity,
match.
yeah.
Briggs seems excited. Ivar reiterates at the end that he's not done with Oba. So there's a three-way situation going on over there, which is good.
Implications.
Good stuff. The family's in the car now all together, driving, talking about how the Don is going to get the Heritage Cup.
Yeah.
Making plans and setting roles.
Very prestigious.
Yeah, and how it's going to go down and how the family will help. They're saying how each one will do something different. And,
Yeah.
that real mobster mentality. Out comes
Absolutely.
AOP with the final testament.
Pain.
AOP versus Nathan Frazier and Axiom for the NXT Tag Team titles.
Oh, let's go.
Axiom and Frazier fly around the ring and frustrate AOP before the bell.
Yeah, they're fast, man.
AOP outside the ring. Then the match starts. We hear the bell. Razar just tossing Nathan Frazier all over the ring. Akam tagged him, or Akam, I don't know.
I don't know how to pronounce
Tagged him and just continues to bully around Frazier. AOP with a quick double team move slam into a knee. And Scarlett was caught holding the leg during one point, and all of the final testament was ordered to leave ringside.
I see. You're out of here.
Yeah, and it actually ended up being Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne attacking AOP when the ref wasn't looking with a double kick to the head. And then, Axiom and Nathan Frazier got the win. kept their titles.
Nice.
We're
They
moving
retained.
on. They successfully have defended their titles now.
Let's go.
Now we have
Against a big team.
Yeah, we have Idris and Malik backstage talking about the mirror breaking last week. So they're working a real bad luck angle with these guys.
Yes. Yep.
And then
7
Brindley
years.
Reese, who's their counterpart, brings in kittens to help the mood out. But they are
doesn't love
black
kittens?
cats, and then they get freaked out
Oh,
all
boy.
over again.
Yep, superstitious.
Yeah, then we have our main event of
event,
Spring
guys.
Breaking 2, and it's kind of an interesting. They had nothing left. They had to front load it and get rid of the titles before Raw. You know what I mean? Because,
100%,
yeah,
man.
they had to get it in. So you're left with this makeshift main event, and I'm going to say it now. It was Natalya versus Lola Vice in an Underground Rules. You can only win by submission or knockout match.
Let's go.
No titles in the line, just a cool fight.
Yeah.
Which it was okay. It definitely was not main event status. I would have much rather seen the tag team match as the main event.
If they would have swapped that, yeah.
But either way, Lola starts with strikes. Now, keep in mind, let's set the stage. The lights are dimmed in this. There's superstars all around the ring for some reason.
Oh, kind of like lumberjacks in a way.
Yeah. The ropes are taken off. There's just the steel turnbuckles.
No way.
Yeah.
That's different.
It's pretty cool. But they're in like a fighting stance more. You know, they're not really doing many, wrestling moves that we would see in pro wrestling. It's more
Yeah.
submissions, things like that. But there's a lot to cover in this match, weirdly enough. So let me get started.
Yep.
Lola starts with strikes, but Natalya takes control, facing Lola out of the ring, forcing Lola out of the ring, rather. Then into a submission struggle. It's back and forth a little bit at that point. Finally gets a submission on Lola, but Lola gets out and starts striking Natalya and kicks and punches. And, she's a very, kicks and punches.
Yeah,
kind of-
Natalya's more a mat wrestler, submissions,
Yeah, outside the ring, Lola sets up some loud knife edge chops. Really loud for females. But Natalya counters and starts throwing haymakers. Lola counters and throws her into the stairs. Big snap suplex outside the ring from Natalya, followed by another one.
Yeah, she's technical, too.
1 and 2. Lola, multiple spots during this where they go out of the ring and into the superstars, which are outside the ring, and taking everybody, toppling everybody over, which is weird as well. I don't know what it's all about, but big,
something new.
Lola trips her on the announce table, smashing her down and throwing her in the ring. Lola throws her into a steel post, which is stripped, of course.
Yeah, it's just exposed.
Yeah. Vice locks in the submission, legs around the head, but Natalya breaks free, starts striking down on Lola. Lola gets her into a guillotine. The crowd is chanting for both superstars back and forth. Let's go, Lola.
Yep.
Let's go, Natalya. Back
Yep.
and forth in the crowd. So it's very split.
They're having a banger.
Which is surprising because I'm not a fan of Lola. And
I like
fans
Natalya,
seem
but
to be. Lola drops her back into a guillotine, but Natalya carries her out of the ring, slams her on the ground. Natalya gets her into a leg lock around the turnbuckle. Shades of Bret Hart.
Yeah,
they even said it
absolutely.
during the show.
Must have been the figure 4.
Baszler gets close, and Petrovic slams her for getting close. Natalya sets up for the sharpshooter, but Baszler gets in the ring and interferes. There's
so
no
she's
rules,
getting
so it doesn't
involved.
matter.
Yep, doesn't matter, yeah.
Lola goes for a side head kick, but Natalya puts her in the sharpshooter again.
Oh.
But Baszler attacks Carmen Petrovic outside the ring. Natalya comes to save her. So she had her dead to rights in the middle of the ring.
Sharpshooter.
Kept pulling her in the middle of the ring.
She was going to tap out.
Yeah, but then, it was Baszler's idea to grab Carmen Petrovic and beat her up and kind of be like, look what I'm doing to her. Are you going to come help her or not? You know what I mean?
She knew what she was doing.
She comes out to save her. She beats up Baszler, gets back in the ring, but Lola gives her a big back fist.
Oh, no.
And it knocks out Natalya for the win. It totally knocks her out. Yeah.
She took a L.
Yeah, and then we end up Ava backstage with Roxanne. She explains earlier that if she had listened, next week she is defending against Chelsea Green.
Oh, wow.
For the
I love
women's
that.
NXT
I love
Championship, and the
that.
crowd is popping in the background
I
for
like
it.
that. Gonna have
So
to
good
watch
finish,
next week for that.
For the women's division, I'd give Spring Breakin' Part 2 a C+. I would give
not bad.
Spring Breakin' maybe a B minus. I'd give Spring Break in Part 1 a good, healthy B plus, A minus for sure.
Yeah, I like it. And that is going to end your NXT coverage of Spring Breakin'. And I thought it was a really good episode overall, too. Did not expect that ending, that's for sure.
Yep.
And now we are going to transition into our final reflection of the night, if you will. It's a Friday night. It is getting late, and we are just talking professional wrestling until the sun comes up here. It is AEW Dynamite 5/1/24. Let me talk to you, yeah. And up next is our coverage of AEW Dynamite 5/1/24 live from the Canada Life Center in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. Interesting show on deck. We know it's the return of Kenny Omega. And we know that Swerve is here. We know that Chris Jericho is here. It's his hometown of Winnipeg. So we're just going to get right into it, guys. Whose house? Swerve's house. He comes out with Prince Nana. He's had 3 matches on 3 shows in 1 week. He's saying that that's the type of champion Swerve is. Prince Nana is saying this. And that's what AEW deserves. And what they don't deserve is selfish, greedy, power-hungry EVPs. Because at the beginning of the show, before it kicks off, the EVPs say that, they've taken over the show with Tony Khan working remote, that it is now their position as EVPs to take over this show. So they changed the entire beginning video promo package to just clips of the Elite and Okada and Jack Perry and all these guys, and Swerve wants nothing to do with it. He goes, what the Elite did last week was a bitch move, and it will be handled at some point, and he wants to know who his opponent at Double or Nothing is going to be. The Bucks show up on the Tron and tell Swerve that his opponent is going to be one of the greatest Canadian champions of all time. He's right backstage about to walk out. It is Christian Cage, former TNT champion, and we know right there and then
where this is going,
where it's going. His Double or Nothing opponent for the AEW World Championship is going to be none other than Christian Cage. And
I don't mind it.
I like it.
That could be an interesting little back and forth and promoing
Definitely.
and stuff like that.
Definitely. And super
Christian's
heel.
not going to beat him. So.
No, yeah, definitely. Yeah. Super heel Christian Cage going against big baby face champion Swerve. And, they're jawing in the ring at this moment, and then Swerve just gets attacked. It's really, really bad. He takes a kill switch on the AEW World Championship, and kill switch actually rips out a dreadlock from the head of Swerve. And you wonder if Christian Cage is going to wear that as a necklace or something, just to get even more heat. And we move to a video package of Adam Copeland's issues with the House of Black, which only can mean one thing, guys. It is match number 1 of the night. It is the Cope Open for the AEW TNT Championship. Champion Adam Copeland versus the House of Black's Buddy Matthews. That is who he's going to be seeing this week. It was not revealed until this show. Very good match between the two of them. Buddy and Adam Copeland both shined. There was a
good
segment.
To see Adam Copeland still doing it.
Absolutely, and at the highest level.
You can just do it, but he's doing it.
He's doing it. He is at the highest level.
So
he looks great. You can tell there's some new fire lit under him going against a bunch of new wrestlers. That was the big thing for him. Going to AEW so we can have new matches again. That couldn't happen in WWE.
Yeah.
So he's defending his title here against Buddy Matthews. Buddy is looking strong, but Copeland is also not taking no for an answer. There was a point in this match where it kind of stopped for a second, and Buddy Matthews was like coughing up blood in the corner of the ring. We don't know if that was kayfabe. We don't know if it was a blood capsule, whatever the case may be, if it did actually happen. But he tells the ref he's good to go. He waves him off. Matthews hits a GTS and calls for a curb stomp. But Adam Copeland ducks. He hits the ropes, finishes this one with his patented spear, gets the win 1-2-3. Your winner and still AEW TNT champion, the Rated R Superstar, Adam Copeland. And after the match, Copeland just snapped. He's so sick of the House of Black and what they've been doing. He snaps. He attacks Buddy Matthews. He grabs 2 chairs. He's trying to set up the concerto, and the lights go out. it is Malachi Black appearing when they come back on, telling Copeland to do it. He's telling him to hit Buddy Matthews with the concerto. He wants him to do it. Copeland raises the chair, and the lights go out again, only to come back on with the entire House of Black gone. Just vanished. That is the end of the match, end of the segment. Pretty good there. That was my favorite match of the night, guys. Buddy Matthews and Adam Copeland for the TNT title. Match number 2 now of the night. It is Samoa Joe versus Isaiah Cassidy. And this is obviously to put Joe over here, get him back in the W column. He does not have a hard time with Cassidy. He's ragdolling him. He headbutts Cassidy on the top rope. Finishes this one with the Muscle Buster. Your winner is Samoa Joe. And now we have Orange Cassidy. He comes out and he says he expected Chuck and Trent to fight in the parking lot and just get it out of their system, hug it out, be best friends again. And he says, unfortunately, that's not the case, that Chuck has been told he can never wrestle again. And we don't know if this is actually true. If it is, I didn't see how it happened in this parking lot brawl match on the previous Rampage, but that's what Orange Cassidy is saying. He says he can never wrestle again. Trent's music now hits, and Cassidy charges him, but it gets broken up by security. Chris Statlander's out there, and for some reason, Don Callis is out there, and Callis and Cassidy walk to the back, and now it's Renee Young. She's here with the Young Bucks, the EVPs. The Bucks haven't seen Kenny Omega yet. But let's bring in Jack Perry. So he's here now. Jack Perry says he had to be made the scapegoat, and it is a new era in AEW under the Elite. So obviously AEW's jacking this new era thing now from the WWE. Come on, guys, let's
They're
be
jacking a lot of things from them, honestly.
Yes.
We didn't know who was going to be Adam Copeland's opponent.
No quarter catch crew stuff.
So
yes.
They're just straight blatantly ripping.
They are blatantly ripping right now. And match number 3 of the night is the FTW, AEW FTW Championship. Chris Jericho is the champion versus Katsuyori Shibata. Jericho and Shibata had an FTW Rules Championship match. Jericho is wearing trunks, which he should go back to the pants. We're not going to talk about that, but this new learning tree gimmick he has is kind of entertaining. He's extra douchey, so maybe the trunks are a part of that, and that would make sense. We had a point here where Jericho puts a trash can over Shibata's head, and he's smashing it with a Singapore cane, a kendo stick, if you will. And Shibata just keeps coming closer. This is like a comedy segment in the middle of what's supposed to be a FTW rules match. Jericho is keeps repeatedly hitting Shibata, while in the trash can. He just keeps getting closer and closer and closer to Jericho here. And it basically does nothing to him. Also, we have to note, this was Shibata's first ever no DQ match in his career. So he sets the table up, but out comes Big Bill, who's been trying to fall under the branches of the learning tree, if you will. A big boot to Shibata and a choke slam through the table. Jericho then crawls over and covers Shibata for the win. So your winner, guys, and still FTW champion.
For another day too long.
For another day too long. Yes, we need Hook back with that gold 100%.
It's the only belt that makes sense for Hook.
Absolutely.
Right now. You got to keep him with it.
But he will be back, though. Taz was saying on commentary he's not cleared. He's pretty banged up, but he will be back, and he knows who he's gunning for. So automatically, it's obviously gunning for the learning tree, Chris Jericho here. Your winner and still FTW champion, Chris Jericho. And now match number 4 of AEW Dynamite. It is Brian Cage versus Claudio Castagnoli. 2 big guys, 2 great wrestlers, just giant swinging it. Lots of 2 counts, lots of spine busters. This match really did deliver here. Brian Cage can go in the ring with somebody else who also can go. So your winner of this match is Claudio with the sharpshooter. He wins by submission. And now Rocky Romero is with Renee, and Rocky is done with the best friends drama, he says, and he wants gold. Rocky wants Kyle O'Reilly. He says he wants to fight him on Rampage on his march to a title. And, we'll have to watch Rampage and see how that goes. Match number 5 now is Serena Deeb versus Mariah May. Mariah May was with Luther and Toni Storm, Timeless Toni Storm, and now Serena Deeb is trying to keep moving up in the ranks to get to Timeless Toni Storm is what's going on. And Mariah May, she is a great wrestler. She's really coming into her own. But Serena Deeb, the veteran, the professor, she ends up taking this match with a submission victory almost. She's wrenching Mariah May's back in a submission, and Toni Storm throws in the towel as if to say, Mariah May's done. She gives up. Championship implications here with Serena Deeb. She actually challenges Toni Storm for the AEW Women's Championship at Double or Nothing. So there you go, guys. It is going to be Serena Deeb versus Timeless Toni Storm for the AEW Women's World Championship at Double or Nothing. And now Renee is backstage with Adam Copeland. She's wondering if he's okay. He says he's fine. And Kyle O'Reilly shows up and he says, hey, Adam, I got your back, man. As a kid from Canada, I just want to let you know that I have your back, whether you need it or not. And Adam Copeland does something really funny here. He's like, yo, kid, my eyes are up here. You're glancing at my title a little too much, all right? I just successfully defended it. It is my title. And at the end of this now, Justin Roberts is in the middle of the ring, and he introduces the returning Kenny Omega, and a nice ovation for him. We have not seen him in a while due to his diverculitis, I believe it was. And he's out there talking about this, saying that, he at one point, the doctor said there was a chance he'd never wrestle again. He said there was a chance that, he might not leave the hospital. They said he was very close to death. And then, we're all very glad that this came to fruition and that Kenny Omega got checked out and did the right thing. And he's talking about a timetable for a return. He's out there talking about, being the best bout machine and how all he can think about is wrestling, and that he couldn't be away any longer. He said he stopped watching the product until naturally until last week when Tony Khan was done dirty by the new Elite, and out comes the Rainmaker, Okada, who they had a 7-star match together, was rated by the Wrestling Observer's Dave Meltzer. And, you kind of see where this is going here. Okada is in the ring with Kenny Omega. And, it's the Rainmaker and the best bout machine standing toe-to-toe. He wants Okada to give him a few months, he says. And then they can settle this in the ring. And Okada says he's sorry, but he's the best bout machine now. And Jack Perry, of course, blasts Omega from behind with a microphone to the face. The scapegoat, Jack Perry, just beating all of our important people up these last few weeks, and Perry cracks a few security guards too with steel chairs to the face, and lays into him with some right hands on Kenny Omega, some knees to the stomach, and then he goes outside. This is where it gets really bad. He goes outside the ring, grabs a chair, and jams it into Kenny Omega's already injured body. And, the Young Bucks come down.
Must not be that
injured. Right, well, like we were saying earlier. But, for the sake of storyline, you're like, oh, wow, he just took a hit to the stomach. This is not good for Kenny Omega. He is not cleared to wrestle yet. The Young Bucks come out now looking bewildered. Omega reaches for Matt and Nick, and they crack him with an EVP trigger. So now Kenny is really down and out, and just when you thought it couldn't be any worse for Kenny Omega, he gets saved by the top guys, the Living Legends, FTR. They come out.
My guys.
And they have Kenny Omega's back here. They come out, clear the ring. Their music is playing, they're shining, they're helping Kenny get to his feet, and that's going to end this show. That is going to end this portion of the Source Wrestling Podcast, the AEW Dynamite portion. So now, as we sat here tonight on this Friday night and reflected on the entire week of professional wrestling, I have no complaints. It is a great time to be a wrestling fan. We're going to let you go, guys. It's Backlash tomorrow. We have an open discussion to do, but that is another episode that you guys will get. Before we go, we're going to leave you with some On This Day in Wrestling History, brothers. Yeah.
And on this day in wrestling history, we have your notable wrestling birthdays.
We are back.
Yeah. On this day in wrestling history, we have Heather Monroe. She is an American female professional wrestler. She was a singles wrestler in the beginning of her career. 2016 in-ring experience. 3 years with trainer Santino Bros Wrestling. So she's somebody in the world of wrestling.
Yeah.
That we should honor her birthday.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's very, very important.
Here we go.
That we yeah. And then the next birthday we have for you is Dana Lee.
1980, Dana Lee.
Dana Lee.
What spot does she have in pro wrestling history? I guess we can look her up because she doesn't sound familiar at all
She's
to
an American
me.
professional wrestler. It's actually a he.
Oh,
Dana Lee.
interesting.
Yeah.
Shows how much we know about this person.
Yeah, it's kind of not really that notable, so we'll just move on from that one.
Okay.
And then we have Monster Mac.
Okay.
Not that familiar with
Same here.
Monster Mac.
Monster Mac. What's
So we
Monster Mac doing? We can tell you that on this day in
American
wrestling history,
professional-
1979, they were born.
Yeah. It's Stephen Carasquillo, better known as Monster Mac, perhaps best known for his stint in Ring of Honor.
Okay.
With Dan Mafia Moff as the
ROH
tag team,
guy.
The Hit Squad. So yeah, he's somebody a
Interesting.
little more notable than what the other two were. Then we have
Yeah.
Stu Hart, Owen Hart, and Bret Hart's dad.
Yeah, that one, man. That is the most notable one of all.
Born in 1915, leads me to believe he is not alive right now.
No, he is not. Rest in peace goes out to Stu Hart. He ran that dungeon by hand, and people were scared to go there, and because he would slap you around, and he would put you in submissions, he would tap you out, he would hurt you. That was just Stu Hart's nature. So on this day in wrestling history, 1993, current WWF champion at the time, Hulk Hogan, brother, defeated IWGP World Heavyweight Champion, the Great Muta, at NJPW, the New Japan Wrestling in Japan. Although neither title was at stake, in a pre-match interview, Hogan said that the WWF Championship was just a toy, and that the IWGP Heavyweight title was the one he really wanted, which really got him some heat back with the WWF officials when he got back to America. That happened.
I was actually watching that yesterday.
No way.
Yeah.
Yeah, that happened on this day in wrestling history.
On this day in wrestling history, we have 2006, the main event of an OVW TV taping in Louisville.
Wow, that's before NXT.
Kentucky. CM Punk defeated Brett Albright in a strap match to win the OVW heavyweight title.
Yes, and for those of you who don't know, OVW, Ohio Valley Wrestling, was WWE's farm league before it was called NXT, before the Performance Center. It was OVW, and that's where Punk, came up before he came to the main roster. So that happened on this day in wrestling history. And on this day in wrestling history, the year is 2013. In the main event of the NJPW New Japan Pro Wrestling show, AJ Styles defeated Kazuchika Okada, the Rainmaker, to win the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. It happened today, guys, in wrestling history.
Oh, wow. That is interesting. And the other one I would maybe note on this is that on this day in wrestling history in 1987, there was a big pay-per-view held with the 4th Von Erich Memorial Parade of Champions.
Oh, yeah, this is definitely worth noting for
it was,
sure.
Held by WCCW promoter Fritz Von Erich
Yes.
and many of his sons David and Mike. On the show, Matt Bourne and Scott Casey defeated Black Bart and Jack.
And can I just say that Matt Bourne is the original Doink the Clown? May he rest in peace. That's who
Amazing.
Matt Bourne was.
Wow. Steve Dahl defeated Killer Tim Brooks. Cousin Jr. defeated The Grappler. Red River Jack and Spike Huber defeated Abdullah the Butcher and
Oh,
Eli
Abdullah the
Eliminator.
Butcher. He was
As
nasty.
Match stipulation, Red River Jack got an immediately match against Gray Hart.
We had
which
Mil
Jack won by
Mascaris
count
up
out.
next
Yeah.
as well,
Mil
yeah.
Mascaris
Who was
defeated
related to
Al
Alberto
Madrid.
Del Rio. I believe that is his uncle,
Really
Mil
cool.
Mascaris.
Skip Young defeated Brian Adis in the lumberjack match. WCW World Heavyweight, WCWA World Heavyweight Champion Kevin Von Erich fought Nord the Barbarian in a double countout to retain the title on the countout.
The Barbarian, huh?
Fantastics. Bobby
Interesting.
Fulton and Tommy Rogers and Steve Simpson defeated the Rock and Roll.
Rock and Roll RPMs,
Mike
yeah.
Davis and Tommy Lane and Eric Embry for a 6-man scaffold match. And then the main event, Bruiser Brody defeated Chief
legend.
Swenson.
Legend there, Bruiser Brody. And that all happened on this day in wrestling history, guys. And that's going to end the show. We thank you so much for listening. We're available on TikTok, on X, on Instagram, on Spotify, on YouTube. Everywhere you go, we are there. We are also available on Amazon Music. Please check us out, guys, and please take a second to rate the show and follow the show. It really helps us as we move along. And until next time,
Yeehaw.
you are listening to The Source, WWE, AEW, All Things Wrestling Podcast with none other than Joe and Mike.
Yeah.
Yeah. Until we eat again, my friends.
Until we eat again.
Happy Backlash, boys and girls.